Hey, hello, you wonderful and free spirits. This is Anton Bennink, and here I'm back again. And today I was thinking about a universal law. Perhaps you are aware that we and everything else in this universe is governed by certain universal laws. And one of these laws is the law of polarity. And polarity is something that when we truly understand it, we truly can use it to our advantage. And there's a specific way that we can use it to our advantage. But first, what is this law of polarity? This law of polarity basically states that everything has an opposite, and everything that has an opposite has something else that is opposite of it, and it's not just opposite, it's equal and opposite. So when we have going down from let's say my desk to the floor, if it is a far way down, it is a far way back up. If it's only a small distance down, it's also a small distance up. We have, for example, a left side and a right side to a notebook. And when I take the last piece of the left side away, there's also not a right side to the book anymore. And this is in everything. Yin yang, for example, or positive, negative aspects to energy, to goals, to life, to anything that you can possibly think of. Hot, cold, in, out, right, left, front, back. Everything has its opposite, and everything is equal and opposite. So how do we use this to our advantage? Well, a beautiful introduction to how to use this to your advantage is the way that I believe it was William Shakespeare so many years ago said, everything is. Nothing is neither good nor bad, but it is our thinking that makes it so. So this is our perception. And through our perception, we can perceive something as positive, or we can perceive something as negative. But because everything we now know is equal and opposite, if something is you perceive something to be very bad, in another way that very bad thing is also going to be very good. So you just have to look for the good in it. And that is the core lesson that I want to lay out today. Look for the good in every situation. And the best way that I have learned from the late great Bob Proctor to work with this power of polarity is to realize that this power of polarity is in our thinking process as well. There is a negative road and there is a positive road. And this negative road leads all the way to disintegration, while the positive road leads all the way to creation. So when something leads to disintegration, we learn to realize that in actuality we don't die, we kill ourselves through wrong kind of thought, which creates wrong kind of feeling, which creates wrong kind of action, which creates wrong kind of results. It seems so simple, doesn't it? But in essence, it starts on the negative side with ignorance. And this ignorance is simply not knowing. We can't do anything about that which we do not know anything about. So when we don't know, if we don't know, love them, leave them, quit, persist, go bankrupt, no, don't. If we don't know, that causes worry and doubt on a conscious level. And this worry and doubt on a conscious level, on an emotional level, is experienced, is felt as fear. When we feel fear, it is expressed through the body as anxiety. Anxiety is something that we are ashamed of. So anxiety is not expressed, anxiety is suppressed. And when something is suppressed, in this case when anxiety is suppressed, it turns into depression. Depression is a state of dis-ease. So we create, through not knowing or ignorance about a certain subject, we create dis-ease in our body. And this dis-ease leads to disintegration of our body, of our mind. So that is what I mean with the saying, we don't die, we kill ourselves. And it all starts with not knowing. What is then, if that is the negative side, the negative flow that we can choose, there's also a polar opposite to that we can also choose. But we must be aware of this law of polarity so that we can choose the side that serves us instead of the side that hurts us. So the positive side of this energy flow, called our thinking process, starts with knowledge, knowing. And there's only one way to acquire this intellectual knowing, this intellectual understanding, and that is through study. So you and I, we must study the mind, we must study the body, we must study the universal laws, because when we know that everything operates by law, we know how to work with the laws. Like the Bible states it as God's law, and the Quran states it as Allah's law. And if you dive more into the scientific aspect of it, these laws are translated to ways of working of the universe, which we can work in alignment with. So let's continue. Once we have studied the right aspects and we've created understanding, understanding doesn't create fear because we know what to do. So understanding creates faith in the emotional aspect of our mind. Faith is expressed in our body as well-being. Well-being is not suppressed. Well-being is expressed. And because it is expressed, it creates acceleration towards the positive things in our lives. And this acceleration of well-being creates in the body a state of at ease. This state of at ease gives us calmness of mind. And this calmness of mind, body and spirit turns itself into creations. We are creative beings, if we either want it or not. But some people learn to express this creativity through this positive flow of energy that starts with our thinking process. And this thinking process, by law of polarity, it either goes into one way, which leads to creation, or it goes into the other way, which leads to disintegration. So it is up to us to consciously choose in every situation the flow that we want. And to me it's quite clear. In all situations, even the situations that initially I might perceive of as negative or horrible or disastrous, I want to look for the good in that situation. Because once I see and can or have found the good in that situation, it will be expressed as a state of at ease instead of as a state at dis-ease, and I will be able to take the lesson from what might be negative, but because it might be negative, the lesson will probably be bigger and it will be turned into creation. So my friends, this is what I want to leave with you today. Let us look for the good in every situation. That is the challenge that I'll leave you with. For now, if you're interested in getting past more of these kind of lessons, these kind of aha moments that I have during the day and week that I share on this Freedom Lifestyle channel, then please click the subscribe button. And if you're interested in a simple free step-by-step guide that takes you from finding your deepest desire all the way to setting up a strategy to actually fulfill that deepest desire, then you can click on a link in the description below and you can download it for free. Thank you very much for listening today. But don't forget, let us look for the good in every situation. My friends, live with love and live with passion. Namaste.